queerness in horror, and horror for queers is such a huge genre, and there's so many queer-coded horror films.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
so many.
Just Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
The second film?
Yes.
That's a Bellamy film with a bad filter.
Yes.
The Babadook is a gay icon.
I would bottom for the Babadook. Hot take right now. In fact, sometimes I look in the mirror when I'm in like all black with the eyes. I go, oh no, you give me an Abraham Lincoln stovepipe hat and a coat and ba 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 duk duk duk, baby. My new pronouns are ba 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 duk duk duk. /duk.
What up, trash bags? Welcome to another episode of Bunny and the Beast. We are off our community service. We are not under house arrest anymore, if you tuned in last week. Bunny has now been let out of her quarantine to do the podcast with me. Bunny Galore, how are you?
Yes, it was self-imposed quarantine because he has a mute button when we're at home, and that's so exciting. Hello, darling.
Yeah, is anyone going to introduce me?
Hold on. We're getting to it. I've rehearsed this for 2 weeks, okay? So we have a wonderful guest, don't we, today?
Yes, we do. A sparkling diamond of the cabaret and comedy world.
We have a drag artist, a cabaret artist, a singer, a blonde bombshell. They are Australian. No, it's not Kylie Minogue. It's a man of health and wealth, Reuben Kaye themselves. Hello.
Hello.
Is that all right for you now?
It's so lovely, because before that was just a net in a game of Homo Wimbledon. So it was just like back and forth, looking for strawberries. I see one's popped out. That's nice. We'll provide
Just
cream.
the one.
We'll provide cream later.
Just the one. So the reason we started this podcast was that, the first idea was that James hadn't seen the series of Sex and the City, but the movies. So, as an old...
You'd only seen the movies, but you hadn't seen the series.
Yeah.
Oh, my poor child.
I'm on season 6 now.
But now.
Charlotte's now Jewish. Miranda has a baby. Charlotte's just like, set the date.
I know. So he's gone full up to the elbow now.
Yes.
Yeah, how are you enjoying it?
It's like Folsom in here. Any listeners, I did not know what Folsom was.
What?
I've never heard of it before.
In those shorts?
I'm young and impressionable, okay?
You're not, babe. You're nearly 30. You're not that young.
Yeah. Gay death is approaching. And Rand mentioned that he saw it on Twitter, and I was like, I don't know what this is. So I searched Folsom, and oh my days, it's like, Bridesmaids when she like walks out and she sits in the street. I'm like, oh, you're just doing it. You're fisting in the street. Literally, you're getting rowed in the bare street. No.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I watching?
Well, you're the closest to a gutter.
Literally.
It's open drainage. It seems like it's practical. I feel like that's, if you're going to do it anywhere, there's nothing absorbent around, no sheets to be ruined, no upholstery to be splattered.
And there's the
no walls that need repainted on the pullout.
And there's the clown watching from the sewers.
We all float down here.
You beat me to it.
Reuben, it's so lovely to see, because we've known each other for many years, but we're in the sense that we were in the same cabaret world for a long time, in the Café de Prix. In different shows, though. I've been trying to remember if we actually ever did a show together.
We did. Maybe I did a spot and you were hosting. It was only one night.
Yeah, it's just the one, isn't it?
It was only one time that our paths crossed professionally.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were glorious.
And the same with you. Well, I saw you perform.
And you weren't there.
You weren't
I wasn't
born.
born.
Yeah, weren't born.
Excuse me, I have to go.
Yeah.
And
Wham Bam started in 2006, and it was a scrappy little thing on the Battersea Barge.
Yeah.
But then we didn't go to Café de Prix to 2009, 2010.
It was just a huge boom. There were so many variety shows and cabaret variety shows, from the Hippodrome, from Circus to Café de Paris to Wham Bam to Boom Boom to Bloomsbury Ballroom to
Black Cat.
To Black Cat Cabaret to and then there was Proud, and Proud had like 4 venues.
Yeah.
And then there was the international touring circuit. There was the Chaz Roll and the Burlesque Games. And then you had, there's this other big burlesque things throughout Stockholm and Berlin. It was huge. And I was just like, I walked into to London thinking I'm going to be in musicals. And I did Evita, and I really...
Oh my God, you did?
Yeah,
you
it
did
was Galdi. No, we did the national tour. I never went to London, but we did play the Berlin Opera House and the Hamburg State Opera.
Yeah.
It was nice. And I came out on stage at the Hamburg State Opera, and my dad was there, and I was like, this is a big moment. And Dad came backstage and said in front of the other actors, you still got like bartending as a backup, right? Because he was so paranoid about the fluctuations of the industry.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all those parents are right.
They're so right.
They're so right
Have a
about it.
backup.
Parents of that generation, because my parents are of that generation as well. Like, make sure you can pay your bills. Like, it's all well and good, but like,
what is the tangible thing
Yeah.
they can? And I really just didn't function well in the hierarchical, repetitive nature of music theatre.
Well, it's very cookie. I always say to people, it's very cookie cutter.
Yes.
James has only just escaped this himself, and I never fit into it. I wasn't really good enough to be musical theatre, I don't think, and I wasn't talented in that way.
It's a specific type of talent to be able to get on stage, do the exact same thing, the exact same way, and make sure it's fresh, find satisfaction in it, and also be a nice person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not many people have all three.
And a lot of people in musical theatre barely have one.
Wow.
I'm kidding. There are a lot of very talented people in musical theatre, but
They're just pretty.
I can't do that. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Which led to me playing a lot of pranks around the set of Evita. And Evita's not a fun show.
No, but
It's a bit depressing.
It's uterine cancer and fascism.
Yeah.
The musical.
Yeah. I did the one at the Adelphi. That was my first job as a wiggy.
Right.
I've forgotten the actress's name. She did take it to Broadway eventually.
Elena Roger.
Elena Rogers.
Yep.
Amazing. Because she's a cabaret artist at the time. She was quite edgy in that way. But
And those are the people who are the exciting leads in musical theatre because they're bringing something.
yeah, she brought a lot of magic. But that's the naughtiest show I've ever worked on because it was so depressing. Yeah. So everybody on that cast were hilarious. We had the best time because it was such you go on then with a black shawl and cry, and then they come off and like do some silly skit.
Yeah. I used to hide my headshot around the set. So someone would be opening sort of a book or a medical journal. It would just be Reuben, Kaye, like headshot there. This is all.
But on tour, when you're doing 8 shows a week, you're probably touring. I imagine that's the Ken Wright tour. So it was weekly touring, not paid very well.
No, it wasn't.
So it's like, how do you actually make this livable without going insane?
I just sort of realized also I felt a real acute sense of embarrassment whenever I was on stage, not directly singing direct address to the audience. I'd be like, no one is going to believe that I am a member of the Argentinian aristocracy, and 2 seconds later am a shirtless descamisado fighting for the liberation of the working class. I'm not a transformative performer. The audience is not buying this. And I just felt this sense of cringe, this like, I'm not this person. And once I came to London and I saw the cabaret scene and I saw the host, being like, oh, you just have to look good, sing okay, and talk shit and hold the energy.
I say to musical theatre people why cabaret is so addictive. I quote Betsy Rose because she says, well, what's the addictive part is that you're the performer, but you're the director, the costumier, the wig person, the choreographer.
You nailed it.
So you suddenly have, I think it's like, Betsy, you don't understand what you've just said so eloquently is you've just summed up why you have no control in commercial musical theatre and you have all the control in cabaret, and that's why
it's entirely.
And that's why a lot of musical theatre performers cannot do cabaret.
Don't get me started.
Because we're so used to, you stand on 6, you move forward on count 4. You're not allowed your own creative license.
You're not given the vocab for it. And occasionally they might do a cabaret section, what's it called, in their degree, but that's frequently what I call Sondheim on a stool, where they just go, sing your audition songbook.
Yeah. You literally said that like a few weeks ago on the podcast.
Roles I'll never play.
And
then go, okay, now I really don't need to hear in an 80-seat theatre you singing Defying Gravity with a piano.
The thing is, when they say roles I never play, it's actually roles I never booked.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
That's most of the time. It's like,
also there's like
jobs I never got.
Yeah, jobs I never got.
That's commercial musical theatre. You escaped the tower.
You escaped.
Well, I don't know if I escaped the tower. That door was open. Yeah, they were like, you're good to go.
You kicked it down in your 6-inch heels, like, get that fire exit door, I'm off.
And I just jumped into
you did.
making my own work and making my own world.
Is that where the the makeup, the lashes, the heels, the red outfits all developed from?
Well,
the horsehair microphones.
the horsehair microphone.
Oh yeah.
The horsehair microphone came from a sex shop. I was in a sex shop, and there was a
Not Tesco's.
Yeah, it was George at Asda, and there was a butt plug with a horsetail in it, right? And me and my friends were a bit immature, and I picked it up and looked at it, and I went, and will always love. And the lady said, "I'm sorry, that's not appropriate." And I said, "You're selling butt plugs.
Yeah.
It's appropriate. It's like this is the second most appropriate hole this could go into." But I then kind of thought to myself,
Oh my goodness.
well, because we work in this semi-vintage space where everyone's so costumed and looks gorgeous, and then they're just holding a mic. And I thought, the mic needs to be part of the world. How do you do it? Not just a sheath. I see that in musicals all the time, little glitter sheath or things.
Yeah.
But I thought, the mouth is a weapon, and it is a weapon, so make the amplification of it a weapon. A whip is a little too dominatrixy.
And I don't think it actually reads very far away as well on stage.
Yeah.
Whip, you know, because it
can
looks,
disappear.
it looks cool, but it in photographs or in film, but I don't think it works on stage because it's just like a.
Dare I say also, I know me, I'll take my own eye out. For an audience.
You've met
member.
yourself.
It's like, yeah. So I thought maybe this horsetail is actually great because it's kinky, it's biological, but also because I can change the color of it depending on the outfit, it ties everything in.
Yeah. I also, by the way, I was always so jealous of you and Dusty Limits as well. I think I was always so jealous of, like, you know, doing really glamorous makeup, which was a lot better than mine back in those days, by the way.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
She might have picked
What about now?
a few tricks now, but like, I heard that. And
she just ignores me from time to time.
Yeah, selective hearing. When she hears country comments, she's like,
Turn the hearing aid down.
the child's acting up. It needs to be taken away.
The worst thing about makeup is that you kind of have to, once it's on, you've got to kind of look perfect and you've got to not sweat. And I was wearing, like, let's be honest, I'm not exactly wearing natural fibers.
No, I think the last time I saw you, we were at the Hippodrome watching some show together, maybe Kristen and Bianca, and you were in a pink fur coat.
It was
I
horrendous.
swear it was July.
Horrendous.
And that was just watching in the audience. That wasn't even, I think you were probably going to be hosting later on that night, I guess.
Probably.
But like,
I loved that Hippodrome gig.
I know, it was great.
You got a free steak, you got paid nicely because the casino needed live entertainment for its license, so they just threw cash at it, and they kind of, it used to be talk of the town where
years ago,
Used to be loads of good
Tom
shows
Jones
there.
and Judy Garland performed. It's a proper night spot, proper piece of London history.
It is. I love the fact we got to perform there, although albeit in a slightly different way. I did do a few months in Madame Jojo's back in the day.
I did 2 gigs at Madame Jojo's and loved it.
I've never even heard of that place.
When it closed, they had a funeral for nightlife in Soho, through the streets of Soho. All these artists carried a coffin with Soho nightlife written on it. And it was like a full
It was
protest.
the end. It was the end because I think
The gays don't do things by halves, do they?
they really don't. You go elbow deep into the cabaret world, and you're very, very successful.
You go shoulder deep. Then.
Shoulder deep. That's it. Both arms.
I really did. Both
Flashbacks to the weekend.
I was amazed you're sitting down now without a single bead of sweat.
That's why the chair's still there.
You bitch.
Well, it does have a high back. You should get Bunny and the Beast poppers as a little gift.
Tell Reuben your papa story.
I think I'm the only person in the world that may have drank poppers and survived to tell the tale.
Stop it. What was the garnish?
Grapefruit.
Fantastic for a UTI. How did you, at what point?
I thought, I was talking to somebody in a club in Newcastle, and then someone came up to me with their hand in the corner of my face. So in my peripheral vision, it betrayed me. Objects are bigger than they appear.
You thought it was a shot. You thought it was a shot.
I thought it was a shot. Yeah. And I went, oh, thanks. Glug. Oh my God, I just made Reuben Kaye gag.
I'm such an empathetic person that I shut the fuck up.
You can actually feel the burning.
Oh no, I worry so much about
my insides.
Yeah. Even before I knew you, I worried about your insides. There was so many notice boards on Dean Street.
Work ahead.
On Dean Street, they don't even have like a CCTV of your face. It's just a picture of your hole being like, "Don't serve this person."
Uneven surface.
Slippery when wet. The Tricky second album.
Oh my God.
So as a natural blonde, how did the poppers react with you?
Yeah, what happened next? What actually happened next?
I remember a lot of burning
Yeah.
down my gullet, down my esophagus, into my stomach, and then
Kylie came on the jukebox and you were away.
yeah, literally.
Imagine. Last scene 4 months later.
Yeah, still there.
I'm actually having a moment.
And I actually can't remember. I still went out. I still carried on the night.
Of course.
No.
Yeah, and I went home and I was fine the next day.
I mean, Newcastle. I mean, it does kind of explain itself. But
Are you from Newcastle?
No, I'm from Yorkshire.
Right.
are you at college, university?
Yeah, I was studying in Newcastle.
studying.
So I was staying there for 2 years. But yeah, I lived to tell the tale.
It's good. And Newcastle's a really fun town.
And then I returned a few years later, and they started doing a drinks called
The James?
no, not the James. This is not PC anymore, and I know you're Jewish. This is really bad to say, but they labelled on the walls as gas chamber drinks. I know it's really bad. It's really bad. So what they would do is they would light the alcohol. They would light the alcohol on fire, lock the alcohol into 2 glasses, and then you'd inhale the smoke.
I remember that drink. I remember the gas chamber. They had it in Australia as
did
well.
they?
Yes. You're triggering a memory. It's vile. Oh, it's vile. Especially when the name Auschwitz Teeny is so much more catchy.
Oh my God. Got the Holocaust.
I've never heard of something from my life.
Well, you're not going to call it the Bergen-Belsen Spritz, are you?
Can't breathe.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But they did one that was poppers, and they lit poppers on fire, locked it in the glass, and then I can't remember if you must have inhaled the smoke on it as well.
I guess.
And did you have to FaceTime your parents while you did it? And be like, "Oh, thanks for sending me to uni."
Remember private school that you paid for? So worth it.
Oh my God. And at the end of your time there,
Then I moved to London and then never looked back.
no. Well, he couldn't turn his head anymore, I would assume.
All those brain cells died. I actually don't remember.
Suddenly.
Yeah, but
suddenly it
The
makes
period
so
of
much more
1993
sense.
to 2012 is lost out of my mind.
Yeah, but it's worth it for the title of Custard Guts 1998, isn't it? Winner of Miss Pelvic Flawless 2002.
Oh, wow. You survived and you're here now, darling. That's
Much to your detriment.
It is.
Look, we've all been through things. That's what we're saying here.
As if we're hardly angels, are we? Particularly, it's like
Yeah, you have to do this podcast with me. Like,
well, that's obviously it's my
I'm fine.
purgatory.
I'm brilliant. Yeah, if anything, this is a step down for me.
you fly Qantas.
I thought
Even
I thought they'd gone bankrupt. Actually, I thought they'd stopped.
Well, Australia's got a great history of that. We had an airline called Ansett, which
Yes.
went hugely bankrupt.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe that's the one.
It's now like a cultural joke in Australia of
Yeah.
being like the Ansett pension package or like Ansett mugs and Ansett merchandise are very lucrative on eBay as secondhand items.
Like Bunny and the Beast poppers.
Yeah, but I do.
Because we've got a Reuben Kaye cum rag in our merch.
It's a flannel.
It is a very high quality white cotton towelette.
Goodness.
And it's very, oh my God, people love them. Available on my website, reubenkay.com.
Yes, we love a plug.
But Plugs Bunny, that's my name.
Yes.
Pluggy galore.
I feel that.
That's it's actually not. It's Vaseline Dion. So
Oh, that's good.
so I'm about to go on tour now.
Yeah, you are.
That's
You're
fast.
touring the Butcher's Back.
I'm touring the Butcher's Back.
Which was the Edinburgh Fringe show, and did you do it in Adelaide as well? Or was it?
Yeah. So that's the cum rag.
That is amazing. Who was the artist for that?
So I have an Australian artist called Joe Noonan from Nomi Studios, and Nomi Studios makes my merch.
Right.
It's all from Melbourne
One thing
artists.
that I find hilarious in this screenshot that we've got is Reuben Kaye's cum rag and then an email from HMRC for help and support.
I'm a wanted woman. And then we also, actually, we've got a little Popper's tee.
Oh, that's actually cute.
I've been saying the
Yeah.
beast needs a t-shirt.
You need a Popper's tee. I'll bring one in.
Yeah.
Oh,
We get people cut them off into crop tops.
yeah.
I did give them
Look
ideas.
gorgeous.
It'll be like a
No, do it. Do it. It's what the people want.
Yeah, it's other people.
yeah, exactly.
It's like at my sister's wedding, and I was like, give the people what they want. James, take your clothes off.
Is that what she said to you?
No, she banned me from taking my clothes off. And then when I said that to the crowd when I was emceeing, they went, boo.
But yeah, we're going on tour. We're touring. The Butch is back. We have dates in, let me remember.
I do have.
You're doing Cambridge.
We're doing
Leeds.
Cambridge, Leeds, Bristol,
Ooh.
Brighton,
Love Bristol.
Sheffield, Manchester. We're doing home in Manchester.
Nice.
I'm really excited to go to Leeds because Leeds was where I saw.
Yes, Leeds.
Are you a Leeds boy?
Yeah.
I
Well,
want.
Bradford, but it's Leeds adjacent.
Right. I want recommendations, what to do in Leeds, who to do in Leeds, what to see.
Okay.
Right, I say leave. I hate Leeds.
What? I saw a great drag queen there, but their name was Dave.
Oh, amazing. I love that.
That was great. I was like, that's fine. She walked out and said, my name's Dave. I'm your drag queen. I was like, yes, you are. This is all I need in my life. We're going all over. And then we're also doing Stockholm and... there's another one.
There's the rest of the world.
Oh, and then we're doing London. We're doing all of London, all of December
Yes.
at the South Bank Centre with a 6-piece
amazing.
band. It's a 2-hour version of the show. So we did a 1-hour version in London at the Soho Theatre last year that sold out. Couldn't get a ticket, but it was only like a 1-week season. So now the people at South Bank Centre went, oh, what's this faggotry? Let's dip our toe in this.
Are all the
amazing.
reserved street people going to come watch it and go, this is why we hate crime people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, I want to reinforce homophobia within the straight community as a load-bearing pillar of change.
And we love to see that.
Hey!
Is the K-hole going to come with, or is it not?
Where
Because
it's
K-hole's like is it like an after show of The Butcher's Back?
That you could have both, but they operate in. Sorry, that's. HMRC. They've low jacked me. That ankle monitor's going to go off.
I know.
They can be consumed independently of each other, but I am trying to find a London date for the K-hole. For anyone who doesn't know, the K-hole is like I call it a late night post-punk apocalyptic protest party. It's like the gig at the end of the world.
Right.
And it's a rock band, and I take my favorite acts from around the world and I say, get on stage, get angry, get drunk, get naked.
It's a full-on show. I thought it was like more like a club night with music. But
No.
that's a show.
It's a show. In Edinburgh, my agent called me and said, Reuben, the programmers from the Royal Variety are coming to see you. And I was like, great. They're coming to the solo show where I do all the stand-up and I've got the band and the music and all that. No, because of scheduling, they can only come to the K-hole. And the K-hole opens with me in a torn red dress with my ass out. I'm just wearing a jockstrap and I bend over and wink my asshole at the audience and say, stare into the eye of the storm like Helen Hunt in Twister. That's the opening.
That might be my favorite film reference, one of my favorite movies, and the best reference I've ever heard in my entire life and career.
Well, the vortex is your father.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you say?
Wow.
And that night, and then in the K-hole, because it's all about anger and frustration. There's a lot of anti-royal sentiments in it, and my agent just went, lean in, do it all, don't censor, go strong and wrong. They're not going to book you, but they're going to have a great time, and that's what's important.
And also, you never know where that will lead to down the line.
Absolutely.
And
I
think
suppose
that's one of those ones, isn't it?
For when it's like Royal Variety, like, I ain't getting booked for this. Like, it's like,
let's go.
Just fucking have fun.
They came on the night where we had the hula hoop girl, the popcorn girl, and popcorn girl comes on stage with a popcorn maker strapped to her head. She is completely naked. She covers, as the popcorn starts to burst out of the top of her head. She's doing hula hoops while rubbing her naked body in butter. And then she pulls a salt shaker from somewhere that salt shakers do not need to be. And it's to the song Popcorn, that 1970s track Popcorn. Boop, 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 boop. It's so great. The audience is on their feet. And then we have another performer.
I miss cabaret.
Who does a construction worker act, and we call it Throb the Builder. And he's a huge muscly man, and we staple things to him, and then he pulls a drill bit inside his nose and turns it on, and then he pulls out his very erect penis and sounds himself with a drill, and then sets fire to his penis and then breathes fire off the tip of it. And the Royal Variety were in that night, and they at one point, oh my God, I think one night in the show, Larry Owens, who's one of the cast members of A Strange Loop from Broadway, did like a whole song and dance number, which is fantastic, and then asked someone to get him a drink, and a lady got him the wrong drink, and he screamed at her, I know, he's a big black guy from New York, this must be so difficult for you as a white person to serve a black faggot. And I was like, yes! It's loose. It's so rough, and it's so loose, and it's so fun.
It sounds wild.
I would love to bring it to you.
Yes.
It sounds chaotic and so entertaining.
Actually, Clapham Ground would be the perfect place.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, and standing room. So it's like I'm party, and then we have a DJ after.
And people can move around and dance.
Clapham Ground listeners, if you know the booker.
Ali at the Clapham Grand, book it. Book it now. Yeah. But because we can't bring that.
Subliminal commercials like
subliminal.
Talking, smoke.
Yeah. Because we can't have that. I've got the solo show Butcher's Back coming to the South Bank Centre, and it's on for the whole month of December.
Yes, you're there for the whole December.
Yeah, those are some of the clips that have gone viral from that show. The ones that kind of got got a lot of attention in Australia.
I was going to say that there is one particular quote that made its way overseas that
stuck in
I found hilarious. Yeah, so if you didn't know, listeners, Reuben Kaye is a very good Jesus-loving man. And why do you love Jesus so much?
I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more. Look, can I say...
It's brilliant.
Of all the... Go, Elsa.
I will say... If it was anybody else saying it, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have reached. Because it was a gay man saying it. That's why it exploded the way it did.
So I went on a show in Australia called The Project,
and that's a bit like the One show here, isn't it? It's kind of an early evening show.
Early evening show. It's like the MASH if the MASH was on at 6:30 p.m.
Right.
But it also, if it wasn't particularly left leaning, if it said it was centrist, but sort of leaned towards a safer, more conservative fan base.
Right. Okay.
And it all happened around Mardi Gras, February, April.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
When I think a lot of people were looking for a way to push back against queer people, but couldn't because Mardi Gras is such a big financial contributor.
Oh, that's such an intelligent way of putting it, Tom.
And
it really is.
Yeah,
really
I think that's what it was. And I went on this program in full geesh, like all painted, and I said this joke, which is just to let you know, on the kinder side, on the gentler side of some of the things I say at my solo show. And I think here in the UK, not necessarily a very hard joke, like not a controversial thing.
That's what shocked me more, because I don't think, and I actually was surprised at the reaction in Australia, because I thought if anything has a very similar English point of view and taste level, I thought Australia was, but maybe obviously I'm a bit
maybe when you all tried to colonize us, you just left that part out.
Well, it's because
I say us. I'm very much part of that problem, by the way.
It's me. Hi.
I'm a big fan.
It's me.
Big fan of Bob Down and Pam Ann, and I love. That's why I love your humor. But and they were so addicted to Are You Being Served and Dick Emery and things like that back in the day. So not even back in the day, it was still running for a very long time. So I was thinking,
I feel like Australia gets everything 10 years after it's popular here, then 10 years later it's popular in Australia.
Exactly.
I think I think the tyranny of distance plays a long part of that. And even though social media is so ubiquitous and allows instant connection, I think Australia, in some ways, not every way, is still overcoming that 10,000 kilometre distance or that 24-hour dateline. But also, in some ways, Australia is leading the pack in many ways. But in this particular case, it did not lead the pack.
In this case, because you got a lot of hate.
It was ridiculous.
How did you deal with that as yourself? Because you got a lot of hate mail. Your parents were like cautioned to not open any posts or anything, like your addresses were very protected.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it was very
serious.
It got very ugly very quickly.
Gigs got cancelled. My agent had people charging into their offices, demanding apologies. The right-wing media, so there's a media monopoly in Australia, which is totally different from here. And they absolutely mobilized against it, and they manufactured more and more outrage. I think in 1 month, 40 articles were written about it.
Wow.
And TV appearances were made by people saying, oh, he has to apologize, this is disgusting, blah, blah, blah. And my gigs were picketed with crucifixes, all this around April, which I thought was really weird to think, do you understand how funny it is that you're trying to publicly crucify a Jew that close to Easter? Because when you think about it, isn't Easter the only festival us Jews get to win?
Oh my God.
So
there was going to be one, and it seemed that.
So they just, but what ended up happening was we had to cancel the Sydney gig at the Enmore, which is sort of a landmark venue. If you play Sydney, you play the Opera House,
yes, I've heard of it,
or the Enmore. Yeah. And we had to reschedule it. My agent had to have meetings with sort of the with the New South Wales Police Minister. My phone had to be confiscated and combed over by like four separate state police bodies.
Just I did see that in one interview, I think I saw of you. Just explain to me why that was. For your safety, or were they trying to find something on your phone?
Yes. They were both. But my phone was sort of this hotbed. My phone was like at a constant temperature of 63 degrees. Like you would have paid £4 for it to have it on toast at a Dalston brunch. Yeah. And
I'll eat some avocado.
It was just a sea of hate. And for my mental health, my phone had to be taken away from me.
Oh, I see.
Also social media, but also my agent then had to give access to the cyber police units to just go over it all and log and categorize. And excuse me, I'm so sorry, I don't know who that was. What was really, I found interesting was, yes, there was the anonymity of the screen. So people are sending messages from burner accounts and using very similar language. So you could tell when it's the same person creating an account. The words putrid dog would repeatedly like flag up.
God.
But then
there's some merch ideas right there.
Right there. Well, one guy yelled out, "Hey, drag fag." And I'm like, that's a t-shirt.
Love it.
Thank you.
Hey, drag fag. And a tote bag with drag fag bag.
Add to basket.
And then I could have like a little e-zine called Drag Fag Mag.
Yes,
it's a cottaging industry. But then...
Breaking news.
But then I would also get hate and death threats and homophobia from people using their business accounts. So I would get people being like, die you dumb dog, you, and unspeakable language you shouldn't really say on this thing. I don't know where this goes out and what your viewers are into.
They're pretty sleek.
Oh, great. So it'd be like, die you dumb dog, you faggot, kill yourself, all that kind of stuff.
God.
But it would be from Flirty Lashes in Croydon. Or it would be like from Vanessa's Dresses in Coburg or Tom's Mechanic. So that it was so traceable.
Yeah.
So like, and it would have been very easy, but also very spiteful for me to just go, here's a screenshot, here's a screenshot, but just post it and be like,
oh, I would have posted that so quickly. I'm a spiteful only child.
Yeah.
I would take them slowly one by one. and I would plan it. I would plan it. I'd go to the town.
Brilliant to it. So what ended up happening was it just created this real furor around everything, and for us it just meant more security. And when we did reschedule the gig, we had to have a very big police presence, which is a really conflicting thing as a queer person. Because I don't want to be involved with the police. I don't believe in the police as they currently exist now.
Unless it's in a movie of some kind.
Oh, yeah. Like if it has a Corbin Fisher logo on it, then I'm there. Or a Helix Studio. Maybe Falcon if I want to be vintage. And then I walked into the gig a bit early because my agent wanted me to be there at 2 and I got there at 1:30. And I should have been there at 2 because at 1:30 was when all of the sniffer dogs, like 8 sniffer dogs were going through the venue and 10 police. And then all the audience had to be bag checked and metal detected on their way in.
What I particularly love is the fact that this is about, I get if they feel attacked, they're going to lash out. But I thought that particular gentleman preached love.
Oh, he did. But then the book is 800 instances as to why there is exception to that rule, because I think
it's
love
written by man. It's not written by.
I also just think all religions preach love as their marketing tool because that's so universal. But that's when they then get you in the terms and conditions.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good way of putting it. Yes, exactly.
It's like
that
when
no one reads.
Yeah, it's literally the American medication ad late at night going, do you feel tired? Are you sad? Are you lonely? Percocet, Paxil will reveal all of these. Will fix all of this. And then, by the way, use may contain blah, 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 and so it's all of this stuff. And people get caught up in that because we're now seeing in the Bible, people go, oh, you don't believe in forgiving debt. You don't believe in helping the poor. You don't believe in helping the sick. You don't believe in not preaching.
They like to wear those clothes on mixed fabrics.
Exactly. But you do believe in defunding the poor, defunding healthcare, defunding education, and personal wealth accumulation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great hypocrisy. I think all religion is hypocrisy and a way to control people's thinking.
The control is the main.
Very different to faith.
Yeah.
Very different to faith.
Yeah.
I think faith, sure, but I also kind of go, well, yeah, faith in a greater power. But the minute you start saying, oh, well, I believe in any tenet of the church, I go, sorry, that you have willful ignorance because the church has been such a horrific force in the world.
Yeah.
And what was it you said? Something about being around children. Who would you rather hold your child's hand, a drag queen or a priest?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Because the worst thing a drag queen's going to get on your child's face is glitter.
Exactly.
That was.
I actually had to think about that.
That's what. The way we chose
to say. I couldn't top that.
The way we. That's
you can't top anything.
I was going for it.
Certainly not you.
The way we dealt with it was by don't respond to any of it. Keep going. Every time you do a gig, make sure you have great material. And you behave like this is part and parcel, which it is, and you just keep going. Head up. When they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama.
Exactly. That was probably my final question was really, it's not that long ago, but do you feel like you've ridden out that storm and has it galvanized you into the next part of your life, do you think?
It's definitely galvanized me into the next part of my career, my life. It certainly helped me cement what I want to do and where I stand on a lot of things and what kind of artist I want to be. It was a real baptism of fire. It helped me appreciate more the people around me who get me to where I am. And it makes me more appreciative of the people who are on this journey with me who maybe didn't sign up for things like that. Think about my band. They're just there to be comics. They're just there to be musicians in a band, and suddenly they're thrown into a security storm and a religious and sociological debate, which they didn't sign up for. So for them to have continued on this journey and to have backed me is it's priceless. And do I think I've ridden it out? I don't know the answer to that. I haven't been back in Australia in a long time. I still get a ton of hate online. I think it's a case of wait and see.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit early, I guess, because it's only been about 4 or 5 months, hasn't it? But
4 or 5 months. It's never the it's never the mass. It's always the single person that's going to be an actor in this. And certainly there was a moment when, before I got out stage on that gig, where I went in Sydney, I went, 2 things are going to happen here. I'm going to step out on that stage and there's going to be either something is going to happen, I don't know what that is, or this crowd is going to go nuts. And they said my name as they were introducing me, and the wall of sound of screaming that came back was so loud that no member of the band or me, with our ears in, could hear the musical cues. And we were just like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, get out. And it was one of the most... electric and life-affirming.
Probably one of the most memorable performances of your life.
Yeah, I think the only other one is the night I did the press night of my first solo show in Melbourne, which was the day of my dad's funeral, and they were both these just so loaded and such intense gigs. Every moment of that is sort of seared into me.
Some of those events in our lives are seared into our memories, and it creates scar tissue, but it also makes us a lot stronger. Yeah. And it does take a while to recover from some things. My stepfather died on an opening night as well, and it was...
God, they've got such crap time.
I know, I don't trust my mother is like literally giving me a heart attack every few, she'll have a fall in the care home, and I'll be like, I have to not react nowadays, because it's always when some other,
I think the trick is to knock them off when it's convenient for you.
Well, that's what James has been trying to do to me for ages.
Literally, I crawl up the death stairs once a week over a trip.
Yeah, but every time you put a pillow over your face, you just bite it and ask for a safe word.
She goes, harder.
We are such damaged people.
We are.
I know.
One day, our trauma will become art.
I think I also have.
Art is subjective. Everything you do is art to someone, and everyone is someone's reason to masturbate.
Get that on a t-shirt.
That's just summed up Micah, the art, and the masturbation with James. There we go.
Why am I the filth all the time?
Well,
actually, don't answer that.
Just let the camera pan down to the shorts, and that's why.
On that note, we finish up every podcast with a couple of questions. So I'm going to ask Bunny first. So Bunny and the Beast derive from Beauty and the Beast, where all the objects come to life. So... you get to pick any random object. Doesn't have to be one from the film or anything. So, Bunny, if you're going to be an inanimate object in the Beast Castle today, what would you be and why?
I think definitely a pillow today. I'm normally the Dom Top daddy, but, I think, it's 2023. I might be a sub every few.
You could be a sub top.
A sub top. Yeah, I think that's the way forward. 2023. Yeah.
Yes.
What would you be, darling?
Oh, I'm going to be the versatile horse hair whip.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could be red one day, pink the next one, maybe just the microphone in their hair. Who knows?
Oh my God. What do I want to be?
What do you want to be?
What would you like to be, Reuben?
Oh, I know. I want to be the grey stuff. It's delicious.
Yes, I love that.
I'm right here.
That's okay. Under the blonde, so's he. And me as well, by the way.
So, Bunny and the Beast, if you were going to rename it with our third, obviously you was our third, what would your adjective be?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, what would your handle be, do you think?
I think we call it the Triplets of Hellville. Because I love that film, The Triplets of Belleville. Beautiful film. Or maybe there's a great French film called The Demoiselles of Cherbourg, The Ladies of Cherbourg. The Demoiselles of Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be good.
I love that.
And what would my handle be if it was
Bunny the Beast and
Bunny the Beast and the grey stuff.
And the grey stuff.
Or Bunny the Beast and the candle.
And
It sounds like an episode of Cluedo now, doesn't it?
Well, that's on brand, I think, for us.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. I love that. Great choice. And so everybody, you don't forget you can find Reuben Kaye all over the UK and you also have a podcast as well, don't you? Come to Daddy.
I do have a podcast.
You do, very fun, really fun. I think you started that around the same time as us. I guess you've done others before, but that's your solo one.
That's my solo one where I interview comedians about their parents and we try to get down to who's to blame.
I love that though, because I lost my father quite young as well, and I always say a strong, overbearing mother doesn't make you gay; it makes you a very good drag queen.
I just think there's a nice way of for comedians to talk about parenting. I'm very passionate about parenting and children, even though I don't want one, and I'm never going to have one, not unless they find an ovary at the back of my throat. So then the comedians just sort of really get to choose how deep they go into this. And if I'm lucky. Rosie Jones gave us an incredible episode about her parents. Daniel Sloss just did one, which is really brilliant. There have been some gorgeous episodes where people really give quite generously of their experiences with their parents. And then there are some that are absolute filth and hilarity. There's one with Gabby Roslin, which is mainly just a recipe for soup.
I love Gabby though.
But how can?
Yeah. I've done her radio show a few times. I realised mid her radio show that her and Paula Grady as Lily started Bunny Galore by accident.
They're the parents?
Yeah, they're the parents. At drama school, because she's a GSA girl as well, and I suddenly went, mid interview, I suddenly went, it's your fault. I was watching you at drama school going, I didn't want to do musical theatre, and they were the
three words we always want to hear.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. Who are your cultural parents?
Oh, who are my cultural parents?
Swiss Navy and creatine?
Patti LuPone and The Rock.
Yes! That's fantastic.
I've never been so proud.
That's brilliant. I really love that. You can find me. I'm all around the UK. Look at my website, reubenkay.com.
Where can we find you on the socials?
Oh, Reuben Kaye across Twitter, across X, across TikTok, and Facebook. Reuben Kaye, my name.
Yeah, there we go.
Brilliant.
Thank you for coming in today, Don. It's been absolutely glorious to see you again and reconnect. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You've done amazing things with your life and career, and you're about to do even more amazing things, I'm sure. James less so, but
and I'll be there too.
I am teasing. Till next time on Bunny and the Beast, we will see you next time.